Mr. Thompson here, looking at U.S. History Standard 1, compare and contrast the development of English settlement and colonization during the 17th century. We are specifically looking at Part D in that standard. That is a focus on the mid-Atlantic colonies, their development, including the reasons for establishment, the impact of their location and place, their relations with American Indians, and their economic development. The Dutch established the colony of New Netherland in 1614. One of England's European rivals held this colony and founded it as a private money-making venture. Trade was centered around New Netherland's port of New Amsterdam, which is present-day New York City. The Dutch colony's location, sitting between England's New England colonies and England's southern colonies, made it an attractive, desirable option for the English to annex that colony or take it and make it a part of a bigger English territory. Annexation. England did ultimately take control of New Netherland from the Dutch in 1664. New Netherland's governor, Peter Stuyvesant, didn't really put up much of a fight for the colony. He gave over and transferred control to England without a lot of resistance. The Mid-Atlantic colonial region had significant cultural diversity and religious diversity because it transferred to England as an already established colony. The English Mid-Atlantic colonies were acquired from the Dutch, and they were New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Now, these colonies that were previously the Dutch's New Netherland colonies were very fortunate to have great rivers and harbors that significantly influenced their development. For example, the Hudson and Delaware rivers provided a highway to the interior of North America. Also, furs that were acquired through trading with American Indians for European goods like iron tools and firearms were easily transported to the coast through these swift rivers. Later, the region's farmers were able to use the rivers to ship wheat and other agricultural goods to markets in other colonies and to Europe. The rivers also provided access for colonists in the Mid-Atlantic region to manufactured goods that were being imported from European markets. So imported, being brought in from European markets. Harbors in cities such as Philadelphia and New York City allowed the Mid-Atlantic colonies to really grow into these major commercial hubs for all of England's American colonies. Because think about it, all these goods are being brought into these harbors, and then those goods are then being shipped out to the different colonies and transported and moved to the different colonies that need those manufactured goods. American Indians of two major language groups, Algonquians and Iroquois, lived in England's mid-Atlantic colonies. The natives who lived there were actually relied upon for trade with the English rather than as a target of war like we've seen in other colonial regions. For example, Pennsylvania in particular treated the natives with a lot more respect than the other colonies, as seen in William Penn's insistence that the natives actually be compensated, so paid, for their land. The Mid-Atlantic colonies' geographic position united the American coastline under English control. So now the English got all that coast. So they got access to all the beaches they want. Economically, the region's colonies developed into strong merchant centers, very similar to their New England neighbors to the north. However, the mid-Atlantic colonies also farmed a significant amount of wheat and corn, similar to the cash crop production in the southern colonies. So they're neighbors to the south. Therefore, the mid-Atlantic colonies really were a bridge between the large-scale farming in the south and the merchants and commercial trading of the north because of the mid-Atlantic climate and geography. So you could say the mid-Atlantic colonies were a hybrid of the southern colonies' agricultural development and focus and the New England colonies' trading focus. That wraps up our discussion of the mid-Atlantic colonies' development, including their reasons established, the impact of their location and place, their relations with American Indians, and their economic development.